National Radio Service has issued a severe podcast warning for speakers in your area. This includes, but does not limit to, the listeners from Facebook, YouTube, and online streaming from a webpage. The Goralniks are the cause of the weather pattern, and this includes Adam, Justin, Jason, Brian. The National Radio Service custodial members detected an hour of a weekly podcast storm. 4 brothers converged to form an unstable system that can result in massive explosions and colossal eruptions. This is not a test. This is the forecast.
Greeting, Earthlings. We have now taken over your radio.
Hit 'em high. Can you hit 'em low?
This is the forecast alongside Jason, Justin. I'm Brian. Adam is going to be joining us via telephone today. On the hotline, he's going to be calling in because, well, he's the only married one of the group and the only father of the group. So he's doing his due diligence as the lovely husband and father he is. But he will get to us later. This is the forecast. 4 brothers on a radio show here as we talk sports, we talk whatever it may be that we're thinking of that day. Now, the thing is, you can listen to us on Facebook and YouTube. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at _forecast. And for the newcomers, as you should already know, forecast is only spelled F-O-U-R. Got a great show to get into today. Right now, we're going to start in the NFL as we will talk about some rain or some shine. Now, I'm curious, guys, as we're going to go through a couple divisions. I mean, really, this is a wide open topic. We haven't talked any football really up to this point yet. So I'm excited to get into it. But, you know, we'll see where this goes. I want to start right now in the NL West. Is it raining or shining there?
In the NL West?
Yeah, I'm jumping. I'm going across the map.
I was not prepared for that.
I know. I'm throwing a curveball, and here's why I'm doing this, because I think the NL West is one of the more talented divisions in football. I mean, there's a lot of teams in the West that can contend. I'm sorry, NFC, not NL
Oh,
West.
you see now, you totally.
Wow, we had baseball on that schedule too, and there's a tease. There's a big tease.
Like, so confused as to where we were.
I was gonna roll with baseball there.
I was prepared to roll. That's what I was getting.
Until I said one of the best divisions.
You like totally. I was
all right,
so
we know.
Well, here it comes. That was just a tease coming up in baseball. We're gonna talk the difference between the AL and the NL on this show. But before that, we're going to get into some NFL news. And the NFC West,
all right,
I think, is clearly sun shining because of the fact that they really are a deep division.
Really? See,
so.
We're going to start off with disagreement. I think it's raining in the NFC West, and I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion. Listen, okay, we know what the Rams are, and the Rams are good, so it's sunny in Los Angeles. Good for them. San Francisco has a chance to be okay. I mean, I like them. I like them a lot, but I don't think you can call a division sunny when 50% of the division is going to be not a good football team. I'm not confident in Arizona at all. And Seattle, this is going to be a full regression. This is going to be the worst Seattle team you've seen in a decade, probably. I mean, at least 8 years. And this is they have no really offensively. They're average. They're mediocre. Defensively, they're going to be bad. And I believe,
disagree.
Really?
They're not going to be bad.
Who's going to replace the Legion of Boom? They've got nobody. They don't even have up-and-comers.
They still have Earl Thomas there.
He's, 55, 56?
Listen, my point is, when you're looking at the division in one of the worst teams, if I guess for you and for me it is as well, it's a toss-up whether it's going to be Seattle or Arizona, but that's my point. Those are your 2 worst teams in the division.
I don't think they're very good teams. I understand. See, we were high. I mean, listen, I love Bruce Arians. I love the Cards. I mean, I love the Cardinals as an organization, as a franchise. But don't forget their GM is suspended on for DUI charges.
That's not on the field. Just
you don't think that the front office has an impact on the field product?
No, I don't. I think it has an impact on the field product because it has to do with getting the players on the field in terms of the right collection, Jason. But if the players are already there, if the talent's already lined up, I don't think whatever the heck the GM does, I don't think that matters. And I think that you're really missing out on the key point.
Which
they're going to have David Johnson.
But first of all, coming off of a major injury, we'll see. He can do it. We've seen it done before, but we'll see. Secondly, do you trust Sam Bradford to stay healthy? Because
Sam Bradford's not their quarterback.
Who's their quarterback if it's not Sam Bradford?
Jason, they're going to start their rookie.
They're not starting. You're talking about Josh Rosen, right?
Of course.
They are not starting Josh Rosen.
Maybe not week one, maybe not week two, but he will get starting this year.
The reports are that Rosen's not ready.
Things will change, Jason.
So I think that the NFC West may be the second best division in the NFC. I think the NFC South is probably going to be the most competitive. I think the NFC West is going to be very good, and I think the Arizona Cardinals will play well. To your point about Sam Bradford, they're going to try to get as much out of Sam Bradford as they can because they know that the likelihood of Sam Bradford going down at some point during the season is more than likely. So they're going to start Sam Bradford, but the reports out of all the training camp has been that Josh Rosen looks like the best rookie quarterback out of the class this year. His accuracy is on point, and he will play. It's a matter of when he'll come in, whether it'll be after Sam Bradford goes down or if they're just not producing in the first few weeks, Josh Rosen will come in. But I don't think you can downplay the fact that they do have a healthy David Johnson back who, when he's healthy, is easily a top 5 back, possibly top 3, possibly, but he's easily in the top 5. And having Josh Rosen, having that comfort of having a David Johnson who, if he gets into tight corners, if there's blitzes coming, he can always dump it off to David Johnson.
Great hands.
I think for a rookie quarterback, having a guy like that in the backfield is gonna make him play a lot better. And then let's not even forget Larry Fitzgerald. Dude, this guy in his last 2 seasons, I think his last 2 seasons have been some of the best seasons of his career.
No, but how long can that last too?
You say that until he shows you otherwise.
Okay, but don't forget, they've got, listen, okay, now I'm going to play devil's advocate to my own point here, but Brian, you say they're going to have, that Seattle's defense won't be that bad. We know Los Angeles has a very serious ball hawk defense, okay? They've got to play these teams 4 times a year. And I don't think San Fran's going to be any pushover either. So you can't have four playoff teams out of a division. Somebody's going to falter.
I'm not saying they're going to be 4 playoff teams. What I'm saying is they're one of the best divisions.
I see, and I think they're the 3rd best in the NFC, and I can't believe that you think they're better than the NFC North and the NFC South.
Well, let me ask you this,
who in the NFC? Well, we can get to that in a second.
I know we're going to.
But if I'm looking at the NFC West here, okay, I probably have. I probably have Los Angeles winning the division. And, I think Seattle, look, you have Russell Wilson, and I'm sorry,
you can never count
when you
him
have
out.
Russell Wilson as your starting quarterback, you're always going to be a playoff contending conversation at least.
Absolutely.
And they didn't lose a ton on defense.
They didn't.
They got Doug Baldwin, who I think is injured for a little bit right now, but he'll be back. He'll be ready to go. And, I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to predict it, but I think probably L.A. will win that division. But you got Seattle who will compete. I think San Fran can compete, and I think Arizona can compete as well. Why they're the second best division? Well, I think the NFC South is the best division in the NFC.
Well, Justin, first off, I don't think there's any question that the Rams win that division. I think the Rams are probably one of, if not the best team in the NFC. But, Jason, I want to understand, from the North, who do you think is the worst team in that division?
The worst team in that division is the Bears.
The
hands
Bears.
down.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you take? Who would you take? The Cardinals versus the Bears. Who would you take?
That's the Cardinals.
That's my point. That's the worst team in my division versus the worst team in your division. So how is the West not better? Maybe the North has a few more teams heavily stacked on top, but really there's only one team. It's only the Vikings. The Green Bay Packers the Green Bay Packers are a complete liability on defense. They're trying to get better, but they're a complete liability on defense.
Okay, you're not wrong, and believe me, I'm actually listen. We this isn't even our conference preview, right? Our division previews. But I'm just telling you right now that I don't see the NFL is about the top. So yes, you're absolutely right. Like that it's 2 stacked teams. But if your division only gets 1 team into the playoffs, which is what I'm predicting out of the NFC West, how are you a top division? The South may send 2 and the North may send 2.
Because I'll tell you.
And if you guys,
well, hang on. Let me help answer this question. Okay. The Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers what should they, in theory, what should their division records be against Detroit and Chicago?
They should both go 2-0 against. Yeah, there's no question.
So they should be 4-0 each against
The
Detroit and Chicago. Correct.
Yep.
Never mind Minnesota versus Green
Right.
Bay.
You figure they probably split
right.
those games. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the NFC East. Okay.
Right. Well, you can't predict the NFC East.
It's hard.
It's
but
really hard.
Washington will likely lose the majority of those division games. Yes or no?
Yes.
Adrian Peterson signing is not going to turn them around.
No.
Okay.
No, we agree. But this is a division that historically beats up on each other.
Good. Now go to the division we're talking about now.
Yep.
The NFC West.
Sure.
Can you sit here and really tell me that there's one team in that division that's going to flat out lose both division
Seattle.
games?
Yes.
No, I disagree.
Okay, well then I don't see.
You think Seattle's going to go 0-2 against L.A., San Fran?
Historically, they've struggled against Arizona very much. Okay,
They've handled San Fran.
they have handled San Fran, but San Fran is coming out of nowhere this year. So listen. I'm on the Garoppolo train, but let's slow the train down. Yes, they won 5 straight to close out last year, but it was after they were mostly against opponents that didn't matter. It was a dead season.
They have a good defense.
They have an average to above average defense. Their strength is offensively. I love Jerick McKinnon. You know that. And like I said, I'm on board with Garoppolo, but let's slow the roll in saying that these guys are going to be instantly dominant.
It's
I
not
don't
a dominance. It's just I think they're going to be going to the playoffs, and I think they're going to have
you take
probably double-digit wins.
Really? So you take 2 playoff teams out of the West?
Yeah,
you told
because
us that
to
Los
me
Angeles hands down wins the
it's
division.
Los Angeles hands down, and I think because I'm not sure, it could totally go any which way of the 3 ways. It could go towards San Fran, it could go towards Arizona, and it could go towards Seattle.
Yeah.
Arizona could be a dark horse. Listen, Josh Rosen, I don't know where you're getting the stats that he hasn't looked good, but he looked really damn good in his preseason opener.
We are so overhyped.
I'm not saying
on
he's
that.
going to be fantastic, but what I'm saying is maybe he is. We have seen rookie quarterbacks do some remarkable things.
Too
i.e.
much too
Deshaun
often.
Watson.
Yeah, too much too often.
Right.
I think we're over.
But there are a lot of talented quarterbacks that came out of this draft, and it's not unfair to say that one of them is going to shine, and it is possible it's Josh Rosen because he is in a fantastic situation. He is in a great situation. So if it is him, maybe the Cardinals make a push for the playoffs. I'm talking about a wild card spot. But I do think 2 teams come out of the West. Because if you look back to who Justin thinks is the best division in the South in the NFC, I'm not buying it so much. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not going to be a very good football team.
No,
they're
will
missing
not be.
Winston for 4 weeks. The Panthers are an entirely crapshoot. They got Cam Newton, sure. He's been great. Last year he was terrible. You never know.
Christian McCaffrey looks good.
I think
good, but who's Cam going to throw to?
Well, here's the thing also is
still Greg Olsen?
Is I want to know, we never really established this. When we say the best division, are we talking about hands down there's going to be 2 playoff teams coming out of that division and we're talking about best records, or are we talking about interpersonal play between the teams in the division?
No, I think that I think to quantify
because
it's
if
the
you
best
look
record.
at the NFC South, Carolina can beat New Orleans, and they can beat.
I do not agree with
on
that.
any given
I agree.
Sunday during the season.
Any given Sunday they can, and they will.
Any
And
team
New
in
Orleans
that
not gonna be that good.
any team in that division can beat another team in that division any Sunday, home or away. We've seen it over and over. Even Tampa Bay can beat them.
Oh yeah, it happens every year. They are the new NFC East.
What my point is in like the NFC East, I don't see Washington doing that. No. And I got to be honest with you, I really don't see the Giants doing much of that either, because I think Eli Manning is
done.
He's been done. He's been done since the last time he won a Super Bowl, which was one of his only 2 good seasons.
So let me
I'm
ask you
strongly
this.
agreeing, yeah.
Let me ask you this: between a team like the Giants and a team like the Panthers, who is, I guess, a more obvious team to have the better year? Or
I would take the Panthers only because they have Cam Newton, okay, who I don't put him in the elite class of quarterbacks, okay? But when he's on, he's on.
Sure.
Okay? They got Christian McCaffrey, okay? They have Luke Kuechly. So on all aspects, all sides of the field, they do have a dominant player, so to speak.
Right.
Whereas the Giants, I mean, Yeah, they got Saquon Barkley. Great. They got Odell Beckham. But if Odell Beckham, if nobody can throw the ball to Odell Beckham, how valuable
No,
is
they
he?
have the best wide receivers in the division, and it's not close. I mean, they have the best wide receivers in that division, and they could give up a couple of guys. But
Who is this?
the Giants.
Okay.
But again, I completely default to Justin's position, which is, how are they going to get those guys the ball?
Well, listen, it's not unthinkable to think that Eli Manning could have a resurgence year.
No, it is unthinkable.
could.
He's never, even when he won Super Bowls,
He
and
was never dominant, I know.
He was never dominant.
But the one thing you have to think about is that he is a gunslinger. And the reason he won some of those Super Bowls is because, one, they had a really, really, really dominant defense. But two, at times he could rely on his run game. He hasn't had a run game
but
in how many years
no matter
now?
how good Saquon
Barkley's
is,
going to change this.
He may, but remember, they still have not fixed their offensive line problems. And that has plagued that team for literally since their last Super Bowl win. It's a mess. And defensively, I don't think they're that strong. So they're going to need shootouts. And guess what? When you need the shootouts, that's when Eli starts throwing picks.
I mean, I think that we're not going to get into our picks now. I think that 2 playoff teams come out of the NFC North, and I think the other 2 playoff teams are either going to come out of the NFC East or it's going to be the NFC South.
You mean West?
No,
you mean East.
I mean East. I just strictly said that
but
I thought
you call it sunny?
Yeah, exactly. You can have a good season in the NFC and not make the playoffs. Buddy.
That's very true.
I was strictly speaking, what division do I think we're going to get the best interdivisional play and teams that will be over 500 playing well, but they may not necessarily make the playoffs
because they'll beat up
in
on
the
each
NFC.
other. Right.
You have to win 10 games to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and it doesn't even. And then
you can go 9-7. Okay, if the San Francisco 49ers go 9-7, would you call that a successful season? I would.
Yeah.
Okay, and they missed the playoffs.
Right.
If the Arizona Cardinals go 9-7, is that a successful season? Especially if Josh Rosen, especially if their rookie quarterback starts and plays?
I hate to say this because it's painful to say, but the Cardinals are in a win now kind of mentality. So I'm not sure that's successful. If they miss the playoffs, remember, this is like the 3rd or 4th year now where they're going in with the old guys. I mean, before this it was Carson. Before this it was Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald.
It's the only old
Patrick
one.
Peterson.
Don't forget,
their
Patrick
defense,
Peterson's not that old.
Patrick Peterson's old.
No, he's not.
Listen, they are in a win soon mentality.
I totally disagree. They have David Johnson, who's a young back. They have a young kind of core. They have a young quarterback, obviously. Really, the only stud on the team that's old is Larry Fitzgerald.
They don't have a young quarterback yet. We have not seen
I
him
think
play
he's going to be. I think he's going to be really good.
Okay.
By the way, Jason, Patrick Peterson's 28 years old. He was born in 1990. So am I old?
Wow.
I think
Okay,
Rosen's going to be very good. I think Bradford gets the start.
Well, Bradford
It's going to
started.
be up to him, but he's too unpredictable.
All right, because we like betting. And since we've all at one point or another on this show, between the 3 of us who are here in studio, and especially the 4th, Adam, we've all made a bet in our life. So let's kind of work up a bet right here. I'm going to give you an over-under, guys, and you're going to tell me if you're going to take it or not. And that over-under is going to be Sam Bradford and how many games he starts this year.
Okay.
Not plays in, but starts.
Right.
I'm going to start that number at 4 games.
Under.
I mean,
it depends. If they're
of
if
course,
they're if they're 3-0,
yeah,
then
it always depends. And I will.
Well, I don't think it's his play that's going to keep him off the field. I think my question was more getting at how long can Sam Bradford stay healthy this year?
Well, I mean, listen, everyone hates that. You don't like to actually root for an injury.
I'm not rooting for an injury.
No, but even predict an injury, that's not something that's fun to do. But I mean, the truth is,
this is a guy who's injury prone.
Oh, very much so. Right. We're talking.
I'll take the under on it still, because who do they? I don't know what their schedule is. I don't know who they.
That's
open
the
up
other
against.
problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to really get into. Yeah, I mean,
If you tell me the first 3 weeks, or tell me the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, no, that matters.
I'll get that. I'll pull it up. But Jason, you haven't really given your
Because
thoughts.
it matters. I don't have a thought right now. I mean, he's capable of playing football, but I don't really like to consider the injury thing because, I mean, that's impossible to predict, and you don't know that. I mean, if they start off with the hardest schedule in the NFL for the first 5 weeks, then
So
they might.
they open up. They
they
open
open
up at home against Washington,
Okay, so there's a win.
which they're going to be 1-0. Then they go out to L.A. 1-1. Home against the Bears.
should be a
2-1.
2-1.
Home against Seattle.
That's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up.
3-1. If he plays good, he's
And then
starting
they
the fifth game.
and then they go to San Fran. I mean, they have
So I'll take the over.
they have the potential to go 2-2. I think probably in the first 4 games.
I'll take the over.
I think my bigger point though on this is the health.
Right,
That's
you can't
me.
predict. It's kind of a dumb. You can't predict health. You can't.
But that's what we're doing. This is the forecast. We predict, and whether we're
Yeah,
wrong
I mean,
or right.
Whatever. History is the best predictor of the future, so I'm going to go under because I don't know
I'm not confident he can stay healthy. No, so I guess I take the under too.
I'll take the under.
Fine. So let's go from on the field to a guy who's off the field at this moment. Does Des Bryant play on a team this year?
Yeah, I think so.
It's really telling.
I mean,
it's really
Jesus,
telling that
how many football teams out there could use somebody's
But
talent
but
like
it's
Des Bryant?
and that's my point. It's incredibly telling. Like, I mean, really, it tells you everything you need to know that he hasn't even been worked out. He hasn't been. So what does that tell you? I mean, yeah, there are teams that are absolutely. Are you kidding me? I mean, the Cowboys themselves don't have receivers, but they'd rather go without Des Bryant, and I don't blame them.
Well, Des and the Cowboys are never getting back together.
I'm not saying. I'm telling you that there are plenty of teams like that are wide receiver. Here's the thing: if a team that's competitive, a contender, has a big guy go down, I think they bring Des in as one of the guys they look at. I don't know that he plays. I'm not very confident in that. I'm gonna say he doesn't play this year. I'm gonna say Des is done.
All right. I mean, listen, that's a fair point because any player who talks to the Browns and doesn't instantly really get an offer from the Browns kind of says something right there.
Right.
Going to another guy in the same division, not division, in the same conference, different division, Teddy Bridgewater.
He starts football games this year.
He starts football games this year.
Not for the New York Jets.
No,
that was my question.
It's got to be Buffalo.
Well, and if the Jets were smart, they would trade him right now.
Well, they are. So the GM just came out today and said, I mean, he loves the way
this is the window.
Darnell.
He's had two good, solid preseason
right,
starts.
I can't think of the Jets GM there, but yeah, he said today he loves the way Darnell's playing, and then he's open to trade. And the two teams you have to look at for Teddy Bridgewater are the Bills and the Bucs.
Why the Bills?
Why the Bills?
Why the Bills? They just
Bills
lost.
They just lost McCarron, but that makes their quarterback search a lot easier. They're just going to go ahead and put Josh Allen in.
You have to have a guy who can play. You can't just have a rookie and then a nobody on the roster.
Why? Where are the Bills going this year?
It's not about where they're going.
So why not put your rookie into play if they feel like he's ready?
Because
if they don't feel like he's ready, they do got like a Nathan Peterman.
You can stunt development that way. I absolutely tell.
So then play Nathan Peterman.
First of all, I'm telling you right now, the Bills are going to take a very long, hard look at Teddy Bridgewater. It's given. It's a guaranteed. No team starts the season. Where are the Bills going? No team starts the season thinking we're not going to win any games, so we're not going to try.
All right, one team. What would the best position for Teddy Bridgewater to be in? What team?
The Bucs.
Justin?
Well,
for me,
it's got to be a team who has a solid running game and obviously a good offensive line. I mean, what's the harm in maybe Cincinnati giving a shot at Teddy Bridgewater?
I don't know if that helps Cincinnati.
I don't know if it helps Cincinnati, but I think that they're going to have to start thinking, long term what they're going to do with their quarterback situation.
That's fair.
And
for me, I think the Jaguars would be nuts not to
the Jags
kind
are committed.
of throw a coin their way, see what they're gonna say it's gonna cost them.
I don't think there's a team out there right now that is in dire need of a starting quarterback.
The
I think wherever.
Bucs.
No, the Bucs aren't going anywhere though.
Winston, how many games?
And also, Winston's only
suspended
out 4
games.
Okay,
That's it.
4 games.
You
big
need a
deal.
starter for 4 games.
Oh, fine.
They'll play Fitzpatrick and he'll do just fine.
Fitzpatrick is a fine backup, even if they go 2-2 while Winston's.
Why are you going to give up assets to bring in Teddy Bridgewater for 4 games?
I mean, you're going to have to give up a 3rd-round pick to get Bridgewater at this point.
Guys, starting quarterbacks are a commodity in the league. When there's one available at a reasonable price, you take it.
Not when you have.
No, even when you take it.
No, not
the
when you
best
have
teams.
One. That's foolish.
What did we? Okay,
Because they're continually giving up.
If Tom Brady was out 4 games,
You just
what
hit
did
my
they do?
point.
What did they do when Tom Brady was out? Did they go out and get Buddy?
No, they played Matt Castle.
No, they didn't. Matt Castle was the year
they had
Brady was out for the year.
Right, and they
Jacoby
won.
Brissett, and who else did they have? Who's now the starter in
they had Jimmy
San Francisco?
G.
Jimmy G. Listen to me, and this is what proves
did
my
they pick
point.
up?
No,
But
just
they didn't
wait.
pick
This,
anybody up,
Okay, I
Jason.
want to hear his
this
point.
proves my point. Now, with all the Patriots' dysfunction aside, Bill Belichick believes 100% that Garoppolo is the real deal and the future of that team. Belichick wanted him on that team. He wanted Garoppolo behind Brady.
I don't see where you're going with this point,
Because the best coach in the league understands that you want two starters.
Right, but our point, Jason, is you don't. When you have a player, first off, that's two starters. That's Belichick looking towards the future in Garoppolo. But when you have your young future starter for the next 8 to 10 years in a guy like Jameis Winston, you don't give up any assets just because 1 year he's out 4 games.
The Vikings traded a first-round draft pick for Sam
Well,
Bradford.
that was a very,
How did that play
was a
out
very
for them?
unique situation.
And also,
In
how
a
did it
unique
play out for
situation,
them?
they had Teddy Bridgewater, the quarterback of the future.
No, he went out for the entire year, and they're in a situation where they are a win-now team. And also, to that point, how did that work out for them? Where is Sam Bradford right now? And what was looked at like a pretty damn bad trade?
that deal.
Right, that's my point. So you don't make it. The Bucs won't make that. That would be foolish. That would be absolutely foolish.
And you think,
let me-
but you
let
think
me-
that Jacksonville's going to dump their starter for Teddy
hold on.
Bridgewater?
Let me tell you why it's foolish, okay? Real quick. The Buccaneers are going to start 1-3 no matter if they have Jameis Winston or if they bring in Teddy Bridgewater or if Fitzpatrick plays.
Because their schedule is what?
Because they open up in New Orleans, then they have to play the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, then they have to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then maybe they get a win in Soldier Field in
here's
week
the problem.
4.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter
No,
if
that's
they bring
not 3-1.
Bridgewater.
That's 2-2 at best.
I said 1-3.
1-3. I meant that's 2-2 at best.
How is that? How is that?
Okay,
The Bucs are going to go in week 1 into New Orleans and beat the
very,
Saints?
very possible,
No.
incredibly possible.
They're gonna beat the Super Bowl
You
defending
said
champions
just
Philadelphia
20 minutes
Eagles.
ago. You said just 20 minutes ago that that in the NFC South anyone can beat anyone.
I just don't see him opening up without Jameis Winston.
If
week
they had
one.
if they had Teddy Bridgewater, who's an upgrade.
No.
To Jason's point, don't forget the Saints are going to be without Mark Ingram for the start of the year.
They got Alvin Kamara.
I understand they do, but sophomore
They're
slumps
not.
happen.
And
Bucs don't go in
they
there
can
and win week
easily
one.
beat the Steelers, and I know I'm going to catch flack. I knew I was going to.
They're
The
not gonna
Steelers
beat
are
the
not
Steelers.
going to
They're
be
not
that
gonna
great.
beat the Steelers.
Not gonna be,
The-
the Steelers are not that
Ben
good.
Roethlisberger
Listen,
is in trouble this
I
year.
will take Pittsburgh in that game. I will take them any day. The Bucs go 1-3 no matter who they have starting.
I see
Maybe
two.
they beat-
I
maybe
see
they can-
two winnable football games. It
Maybe
could be 2
if
and 2.
they have Jameis Winston playing, but he's not playing.
So you think that Jameis Winston is a significant upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater?
Yes.
Really?
Over a guy who hasn't started an NFL game in over a year? Absolutely.
Okay, you're talking about you don't know what to
Who
expect.
Jameis Winston
Jason,
had
you're
a terrible-
talking about you don't know what to expect from a guy like Josh Rosen, but yet you're saying Teddy Bridgewater, who's been out of football for how long, is just going to come back and look like he was?
He hasn't been out of football. He was healthy all of last year. He did not start.
But he didn't play.
That does
That's
not
being
mean
out
that-
of football.
No, that is not.
That's absolutely being out of football.
The opposite of being out of football.
Jason, ask
So
any
he held a clipboard and he
Right.
called plays.
Oh,
in.
you don't think he practiced?
Ask any professional what the difference between practice and game is. There's a major difference.
Major difference. I agree with Brian. They go 1-3 no matter who they have at the helm.
Well,
2-2 if
Brian
they have
didn't actually
Winston.
say that. You said that. So
You said that, and I agree with you. Also, to Jason's point, real quick, because it was brought up, top 3 teams in the AFC, are the Steelers going to be one of them?
No.
Quick.
no.
Yes.
I think it's an obvious yes. I think you're absolutely blind and biased. Anyways, that was enough for football today. We're going to get into a big segment. September 3rd is when we're going to record the show. That's going to be a show you guys don't want to miss because that's our prediction show. We will give you the winners of every division. We will give you our playoff teams, our playoff breakdowns, and the Super Bowl winning matchups and our picks for the 2019 Super Bowl champions. So that's going to be an action-packed show. Hopefully Adam will be back in studio with us for that. Again, this is The Forecast. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. Listen to us there. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at _forecast. Right now, it's time for Weather with Jason.
All right. Good, good segment. Here we go. So listen, the date we are recording this is August 20th, 2018. So I don't know when you're going to be hearing it, hopefully within the next couple of days. But on this specific date in history, okay, hurricane, it's an unnamed storm, but in 1886, on August 20th, a hurricane impacted the coast of Texas. This storm would go on to be known as the fifth most powerful hurricane ever to strike land in the United States. It destroyed the entire town of Indianola, Texas, killed 72 people. The town was so destroyed that it was never rebuilt, and to this day exists only as a stone monument in the ground, remembering the victims of that tragedy. Now, why do I bring up this terrible storm? Well, fast forward to 2018, and a hurricane on the opposite coast in the Pacific Ocean, Hurricane Lane, is currently churning along in the Pacific and may threaten Hawaii in the next 3 days. So, towards the end of the week, residents of Hawaii, citizens of Hawaii, need to be on high alert. This is a storm. This is a very powerful Category 4 storm, and people need to be alert because this thing could easily strike Hawaii, which doesn't need any more trouble right now. And that is Weather with Jason.
Well, thank you, Jason. As we turn back to the show, and obviously want to send our best wishes out to Hawaii, as Jason said, stay on high alert. Here's another group of people that should be on high alert. And before I make my pick, this is interesting because we had a short debate before the show as we turn to baseball. The AL versus the NL. Talking about winning the World Series. Which, I guess, league, right? Which league, the American League or the National League, should be on high alert in terms of being afraid they're not going to win it this year? Is there a more stacked league, the AL versus the NL? Justin, go ahead. I'm curious what you're thinking on this.
Well, here's my thought. My thought is that the most interesting series out of the MLB postseason will be the ALDS, NLDS, ALCS, and NLCS. I think the World Series is not going to be very entertaining for the simple fact that whoever makes it from the AL, whether it's going to be the Red Sox, the Yankees, or the Astros, maybe now you have to throw the A's in there, although I don't know if the A's can power through the playoffs. I think they may make the playoffs. I don't know if they'll make it to the World Series. But I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that the AL is going to win the World Series, and I don't think it's going to be 7 games. I don't think it's going to be 6 games. It may be 5 games. It may be a sweep. Whether it's the Chicago Cubs, whether it's the LA Dodgers, I just think that there's a huge disparity between the best teams in the NL and the best teams in the AL. So I look forward to the divisional series, the championship series. The World Series is going to be a bust.
Let me ask you this. It's an interesting take. It's not like we haven't seen championship series as being a bust. And by championship series, I'm talking about World Series. Sometimes, especially in hockey, too, sometimes the games or the series to get to the finals are better than the actual finals themselves. But you think that it's clearly going to be an AL team. I mean, top 3 teams in the AL. I mean, is it obvious? Cleveland,
right
Houston,
now?
Red Sox. Is that how the pecking order?
Not in
that order, but
I don't think Cleveland's in the top.
No,
3.
Cleveland. We're talking AL. Yeah,
sleeping on the Indians.
Are we going right now? Right at this moment in time?
No. We're talking. This is the forecast, so we're talking as a forecast for winning the World Series. You think it's going to so dominantly be an AL team? So who are those top 3 teams potentially that could be the team winning it?
Those 3 teams are Boston, Houston, and Oakland.
And I would throw Cleveland in there in the
Cleveland's gonna make the
postseason, but
playoffs.
it also depends on Trevor Bauer's situation.
You don't think Chris Sale's a bigger situation for the Red Sox?
I do. I'm worried about him. I'll get into that a little bit later. I am. But you know what? Like I said 3 weeks ago, never trust a word that comes out of the Red Sox medical staff. I think it is a big issue, but they got guys stepping up also. David Price has silently had a pretty damn good year.
But I think part of that is David Price, too. Playoff struggles. You guys are so high on the Athletics. Yeah, they're a great team. We've seen teams like that, especially in Oakland, fail in the playoffs.
I think No, you're not wrong. But right now, Houston has to be real worried. Okay, Cleveland's going to the playoffs, and Cleveland's safe. Cleveland's making it past the wild card round. Boston is making it past the wild card round.
Well, I don't. Yeah. Well,
Okay, the Yankees, I'm not talking past the wild card round. I'm saying they don't have to play a one-game playoff. I'm sorry, let me rephrase, right? The Yankees right now are looking like they're going to be in a one-game playoff, and now you're talking about the battle is between Houston and Oakland to see who their one-game playoff competitor is. Oakland is like one game out from Houston. So this is no longer a runaway race.
I'm pretty sure that they were tied as of last night.
Okay, well, then I must have had my facts wrong.
Oakland beat Houston in Houston or in Oakland, I don't remember, but they were tied as of last night.
Well, I'm looking at the standings on MLB.com right now, and it's got Oakland as a game out.
And also, we digress because this show isn't, last night we're talking
fair,
obviously
right.
Sunday night.
But the moral of the story is this is tight. And so I don't know how you can say sleep on Oakland. Houston's not sleeping. They're not sleeping at all because this is going to be – nobody wants to play that one game play. I mean, we can talk about it another time. It's the worst part of sport. It's the worst part of the MLB right now. But, I mean, no one wants to play that game. And so you've got three teams who are fighting to stay out of it.
To answer your question, whether it's the Cubs, whether it's the Dodgers, no matter if they face the Red Sox, if they face the Astros, the only team I think maybe if Cleveland were to somehow make it through, I think Cleveland is beatable. The Yankees, I don't think that they would beat the Yankees in a 7-game series. Even as mediocre as the Yankees have been right now, they're waiting for a couple of guys to get healthy again. Obviously, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez. I don't know how much of an impact Gary Sanchez makes when he returns. Aaron Judge obviously makes a big impact. Didi Gregorius, who went down. So I don't see them beating the Yankees either, even though the Yankees are playing, I'd say 500 ball as of late.
Well, since we're talking about the Yankees, and Jason, the way you phrased, I guess, who's going to the playoffs in the AL, what's a better situation for the Yankees in the wild card game? Because I'm a Yankee fan, and I'll openly admit it does feel like we are headed for that wild card game, obviously, unless we start losing even more. But it does seem like the division's out of reach. Now, that's not saying if the Red Sox have a slide, the Yankees can make it interesting down the stretch. But we have yet to see the Red Sox do that all year long. So that's kind of why I'm assuming. But if you're the Yankees and you're in a wild card situation, and with your history and how easily Houston seems to be able to dominate the Yankees, I understand it was a 7-game series, but every meaningful game, Houston won. Would they rather play the Athletics in a one-game wild card game?
Yeah, no question. I don't think... The question becomes, if you're the Yankees fans, do you want to face Justin Verlander in a one-game play-in, or do you want to face Sean Manaea?
I don't know if it would be Verlander.
Oh, it's got to be Verlander.
Here's the thing. Dallas Keuchel eats the Yankees alive.
It's definitely going to be. If it's not Verlander, it's going to be Garrett Cole. I don't think Keuchel's name comes in the conversation.
You can't rule out the fact that you may have to face Keuchel and Verlander in the same game.
Well,
who's to say?
No, that's a good point.
Who's to say that to preserve arm and to ensure the win, that Keuchel goes out and pitches 4 innings and Verlander goes out and pitches 4 innings? Who's to say that doesn't happen?
No, you're absolutely. I mean, listen, it's no holds barred. It's win the game or go home. Right. So yeah, no, absolutely. There's no question.
So you may end up facing both of them.
Although Verlander is still legendary for, having an arm that never stops. He'll go a complete game and pitch in another 5 days. But I just don't listen. I like Oakland, but if it's me, just based on numbers, I want to face Sean Manaea, and I don't want to face, Verlander or Keuchel or Garrett Cole for that matter, who's having a, not as great a year as he did last year, but still having a solid year.
All right, so the additions to the Dodgers then, as a competing team from the NL, that doesn't scare you having Manny Machado there?
What have they played? How have they played since the arrival of Manny Machado?
Well, it's been up and down.
It's been very up and down. They're actually 500 balls, right. And listen, the Dodgers aren't even in a playoff.
Say up and down.
The Dodgers are not even in a playoff spot right now. There are 9 teams competing for the playoffs in the NL, which makes it exciting for fans of those teams, but none of them are running away with anything. I mean, you have, the Dodgers, the Rockies, and the D-backs are all, the standings, the Dodgers are actually behind both of those teams in their own division. So, that's telling. That's not an easy grouping to rise above, especially when you're only playing 500 baseball. I think there's 3 teams in each division that can make the playoffs legitimately. I think you have a 9-team race right now in the NL.
Let me ask you this, I guess, turning away from maybe power teams to underdog teams, because there's not really that many in the American League. We expected Boston and New York. While it hasn't, it's been a while since those two teams have had kind of a head-to-head duel, even though it's not really turning out to that. But throughout the earlier season, it was. We expected them on top. Cleveland, we expected them on top. Houston, we expected them on top. The surprise teams are kind of Oakland and Seattle. We didn't necessarily predict that.
Sure.
But out of the NL, you got the Braves, you got the Phillies, you got even the Brewers are having a good season. You got the Diamondbacks, who we kind of expected at this point.
Sure,
but the Rockies is kind of a little surprise, too, to
and
see them in second and the Dodgers in third.
Agreed.
Is that hurting the NL and maybe boosting the AL? I mean, is more talk around the AL because more of those are household names?
No. More talk is because, again, you've got a lot of teams that are playing, good baseball. They're you've got teams that are 10, 12 games above 500 in the NL, but you have teams that are honestly 50 games above 500 in the AL. So it's not about name recognition. It's literally about dominance. If you go top to bottom, all 15 teams, the NL may be better. Because their worst teams are less bad than the AL's worst teams. Does that make sense? So if you took an average, the NL may be better, but the ceiling is much higher and the floor is much lower in the AL.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't disagree with that, actually, because if you look in the AL, I mean, first of all, in the Central you have KC who's almost below 300.
Yep.
Chicago White Sox 374. Then you go up to the East, Baltimore
is below
296, Toronto 448, and then down in the West, Texas at 444. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, and then you have the Angels who are right at 500. So basically 6 teams at 500 or less. If you shift over to the National League, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you got about the same, actually.
You're missing teams. So under 500, the Twins are under 500. The Tigers are under the entire Central.
Entire Central.
Oh, yeah,
outside
you're right.
the Indians.
Sorry. Yeah. All right, you're right.
So the Blue Jays, two.
So
I
I see Jason's point in that I think that there might be more parity in the NL,
yes.
where they tend to play each other better, whereas in the AL, you just have these 2 or 3 outliers, which is kind of stealing all the attention.
Right. And I just wanted to make the point before we move too far past it. I think your bigger story in the NL is not up-and-coming teams, the sleepers, the whatever, because, I mean, listen, Atlanta we knew was going to be good. Maybe they're a little ahead of schedule. Maybe they're not. The same thing with Philadelphia. Chicago's right where you expect them to be. Colorado, okay, that's a surprise. But I think your bigger story is the teams that are underperforming. Right, so the Nationals were going to win the East, right? We talked about this. The Nationals were going to win the East, and they just didn't show up this year. They are a disaster right now.
I think they're out.
I agree with you.
3-7 in the last 10, and they've dipped below 500.
I agree with you. And then you want to talk about another team, the Dodgers, right? Again, this is a team that was you don't think they were heavy preseason favorites?
They were, but you do got to remember they suffered a number of injuries.
Sure.
Number of injuries, and 2, there's still 9 games over 500.
They are, and they're competing for a playoff. I'm just saying that I think the bigger story is and listen, what happened to the Pirates? The hottest team in the league to start the season.
I called this. Jason, you got to understand, the Pirates are a team that didn't make any moves.
Right.
Any moves.
No, that's not true. What do you mean they didn't make any moves?
No, but over the offseason, Jason. The only team not to make a move over the offseason. They don't care. They got lucky. They got hot. They were streaking. It was bound to end. I mean, don't forget, the Cincinnati Reds got hot throughout the middle of the season when Matt Harvey came to the team, and that has since faded out as well. So ultimately, Jason, I'm with you. There are a lot of big teams. Even maybe you want to throw in St. Louis and how many down years, but how many years outside the playoffs that they have been.
Well, I'm telling you, St. Louis is charging right now. St. Louis is not going to go out without a fight.
Well, so that leads me into my next kind of quick questions. We're going to do a quick rapid fire. A couple teams that are outside looking into the playoffs. Will they make a charge? Yes or no? Okay. We'll start with the Dodgers. Will they get to the playoffs?
Not the way they're playing right now, but my gut tells me they will find a way to get in.
I'm with Justin. I trust the rotation. I think they will find a way in somehow.
Yeah, I trust the talent on that team. Let's go to the Cardinals.
The Cardinals, yes, I think they find a way. I think they're getting warm at exactly the right time. Yes, I think they find a way.
No, I'm gonna say no. I like if any team is gonna make a charge at the Cubs there, I think it'd be Milwaukee. They're playing good ball.
Yeah, I'm not huge on the Cardinals. Milwaukee's playing good ball. I don't know. Something tells me that there's only one team that comes out of the Central too. That's part of my.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that. I mean, look, I think that. I mean, personally, I think your division winners are going to be the Braves. I think it's going to be the Cubs, and I think it's going to be Arizona. And then I think you're going to have Philadelphia, and then it's going to either be Los Angeles or Colorado.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Philadelphia, I don't know if I'm so locked in on Philly, but I definitely think it's Philly, Colorado, L.A., Milwaukee battling in that. You picked the Cubs on that division, right, in the Central?
Yeah, I did.
All right, so Jay, any thoughts on that before we move to the AL?
Oh, I don't disagree with the division winners. I mean, listen, the Cubs have it wrapped up, the division anyways. So I don't think, and I think Arizona wins their division. The East, you could make an argument about. But I still think St. Louis, and I still think St. Louis finds their way in. I think that Milwaukee or Philadelphia.
All right, so in the West, in the AL, the Mariners obviously looking up towards the Athletics and the Astros. Do the Mariners get in?
No.
Justin?
No.
I'm bypassing the Central because that's a foregone conclusion.
Oh, yeah, it's over.
That it's over.
The Mariners, I think, I mean, wow, what happened to King Felix, huh? I mean,
age. It's father time never loses.
When the day that King Felix gets moved to the bullpen is.
We'll say this for Seattle: if you give consolation prizes, they are the only team in the AL that has a shot. They're the only even bubble team, if you want to call it. They're the only team that has a chance at the playoffs.
And ultimately, it's them or Oakland and the Yankees.
Correct. Yeah, that's it.
Right now, both teams are looking up at the Yankees, so I think it'll be difficult. Nice year for Seattle, but I don't see it happening.
Although, here's the crazy thing, and it's not too crazy, is Houston is 3-7 in their last 10. They better watch out because, I've seen crazier things happen. Houston may be on the outside.
Justin, I already made that point.
Oh, I was watching the Red Sox.
I said Houston's not sleeping with Oakland right on their heels. I think Houston could see that playoff game.
Well, no time for you to watch, as you did mention.
Well, I'm saying, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What I'm saying is Houston may not even see that playoff game.
Wow, that's a hot take, folks. Woof.
At Seattle,
Hello.
4.5. Seattle 4.5 back. Last 10, 6-4.
Yeah, well, I think what we need is a hot take. We need a hot take sound because that was.
I don't have one. We'll get one. We'll get one queued up. We go from hot to maybe cold. I think that is a good medical move, right? Do you go hot to cold or cold to hot?
I typically go cold to hot.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's why I'm not a doctor. But we do turn to our doctor on the show. It's time for the Merck Report with Dr. Justin.
All right, so kind of getting into things quickly, focusing on the injuries, on teams that actually really matter right now. Trevor Bauer has a fibula fracture. Actually just got worse news about that yesterday. Supposed to be out until about September 18th. That's a big injury as Cleveland is looking like they're going to make the playoffs, but the question is, will his health be ready for the playoffs when they actually begin? As I mentioned before, with the Yankees, they just lost Didi Gregorius as well. It's a heel. He's supposed to be back on the 21st of August, which is actually rapidly approaching. I think everything is still kind of up in the air with Aaron Judge. His timeline has now been extended. Now it's to September. And Gary Sanchez, again, like I said, I don't know how much of an impact he makes when he comes back. He's a power bat. More concerning than that, I think the Red Sox dealing with Chris Sale. Look, I have no idea what the heck's going on there. At first, they wanted to lead us to believe that this was just kind of resting his shoulder. Then inflammation came out. Then he comes back off the 10-day DL, pitches like a two-hit win, and then immediately goes back on the DL. I'm wondering if there's something else underlying, something else that's going on that they're not saying. Rafael Devers is back on the DL with a hamstring. That's also concerning because that's what he went on for 3 weeks ago. So I don't know what's going on there. You never know with the Red Sox. They're always mum about these things, which, and that's pretty much the big ones in baseball. If you switch to football, we talked about the A.J. McCarron going down. Josh Allen's probably going to take his spot. I think that's a good opportunity for him. Nick Foles went down with a shoulder injury. Doesn't seem to be too serious. And then finally, the Vikings suffered 6 injuries in their playoff game against Jacksonville.
Unreal.
Brutal. Their O-line, they've already lost. I think Pat Elflein is out, and they lost Nick Easton to season-ending surgery on the neck. So Vikings, once again, kind of on the short end of the injury stick.
And that was the Merck Report. Thank you, Justin, as we'll be doing that all year long. What he's going to do is get into injuries, and especially relevant during football season for those fantasy players, as all of us Goralniks are. So definitely a segment you want to tune into for every week. Obviously, whether with Jason and the Merck Report, we have those every week. So obviously something you want to tune into. And real quick, just because we'll get it every week, I think I should fill in for Stink and drop some wisdom with Stink.
Oh boy, I'm scared.
You guys okay with this?
No, I'm not actually, but do you care?
Is J.D. Martinez about to hit a walk-off home run? I want to hear this wisdom. Let's hear it.
That's a vote for yes.
Give us the wisdom.
This is wisdom with not Stink. If you don't show up for the show, don't call in.
Yeah, and delay everything by like 40 minutes.
Yeah, that was sweet.
He tried to call in. We tried to get Adam on the show, as I said in the beginning, but unfortunately we had some studio technical difficulties, which I'm sure will probably come back around on me for next Wisdom with Stink.
That's right, yes.
But that's also a segment that we do every show. You want to check it out. It is ideally funny. Sometimes it's not funny, which also makes it funny because it's Stink, right? So, guys, we're getting to that point of the show. Before we get into our final segment, which is the highs and the lows, we do want to mention one thing, and this is going to spark a bit of debate. In the movie realm, all right, in theaters, there's a new movie out. It's called Billionaire Boys Club. And on opening night, it's starring Kevin Spacey. That's the key point to this. And on opening night, it did just $126. That's not thousands. That's not millions. That's just $126.
Yeah, actually, it gets worse than that. Over its first weekend run, it made $618.
The entire weekend.
The entire weekend. Now, it's important to note that's only 11 screens. So, I mean, this was a limited release. But I will say that if you take the average movie price, which is something like $10,
Yep.
Yeah, that means 60 people saw this movie. So that means depending on how many showings were this weekend, there may have been 4 or 5 people in each theater for each showing, which is just absurd. And listen, I think it goes without saying. You almost don't even need to make the connection at this point. But obviously, this was not a hugely hyped movie, but this kind of showing for Kevin Spacey, who previously was a well-respected guy who had his own Netflix show, which is now not his because of sexual misconduct.
He was pulled
allegations.
off, right?
He was fired immediately.
That's what I thought.
There have been several men, and it keeps the list actually keeps growing, including people who were on the set of that TV show. House of Cards, that have come out and accused him of sexual harassment, sexual misconduct. And the list keeps growing. And so, listen, the guy is, tarnished at this point, but this has
done.
to do with it. Yeah, he's done. And
this all you have to say about this is that he's done. His career's over. It was over before.
right,
Before when the
movie came out.
when the
Yeah,
accusations
yeah,
came out.
right.
But
So-
I think this is just confirmation that he's done.
right.
So let me clarify just for myself and for others that may not know. So they already shot Billionaires Boys Club, and then
They-
the accusations came out
Yeah, okay,
and
so-
still proceeded to, I guess,
Right. So
release.
they filmed this movie actually 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so this was way before any accusations. They filmed it 3 years ago, spent some time in the editing cutting room. Again, it wasn't a huge movie. It's got really nobody in it except for Kevin Spacey. There's a couple people, but it's Kevin, and he's not the star. He's only a secondary actor. Then the Harvey Weinstein thing happens, okay? and the Me Too movement, and it's good because this was obviously an underlying problem. Then Kevin Spacey gets the specific allegations, but they couldn't take him out of the movie. He was just.
And am I the only one who finds it hilarious that Kevin Spacey's first film in theaters after all of this
is called
includes the word boys?
Yeah, no, it's. Listen. All right, I don't find it quite as funny
It's
as
almost
you guys
amazingly
do.
ironic.
It is not amazingly ironic.
Correct.
It's sadly ironic. Listen,
And the word club, the boys
Okay,
club.
okay. I don't think there's anything funny about these accusations. It's troubling. It's really disturbing.
I don't think Justin was making fun
No,
of the
no.
accusations.
And listen, these
but-
people get everything they deserve. I mean, Kevin Spacey has this coming to him, but it's just this is a remarkable statement on the public perception. This is what will public movement will do. I mean, look. Honestly, I don't know of a movie, and I'm not an expert, but I don't know of a movie $613. I just can't even.
Yeah. I think we might make more if we made a home video.
Yeah, I agree. Right? I mean, you're right.
Well, no, think about it. I mean, I make more in a week than that movie made in a
Well,
weekend.
I guess I need to get a new job. But anyways.
Well, it doesn't all go to me, but listen.
I'm kidding. No, right.
That's
It
what
was
it says on
that's
my
just
check.
sad. And like I said, it's deserved. So good. Good for him. He deserves it.
I think my biggest shock, and just to go back, I guess, to the original drop of these accusations, I didn't expect Kevin Spacey to be gay.
That's been one of the most well-known facts.
I didn't know, I'm not up to movies and
Sure.
as much as you guys are, but I don't know. He comes his character in many shows and movies is a very macho kind of man.
He plays
Actually,
a
he
gay
plays
character in House
very-
of Cards.
and-
Well, ambiguously. Yeah, I mean, not ambiguous. It's open, but yeah.
Oh, fine. I haven't seen much of House of Cards, so that's
Listen,
a lost point
as
for
an
me.
as an actor, the guy was phenomenal.
He
But-
was phenomenal, and it is a shame, but you know what? Rightfully so, and I'm glad people are standing up and doing what they believe, and for a good cause it is as well. Another good cause is us letting you know what the highs and lows of the week will be as we get into our final segment here. Yeah. Do we do that? Jason just threw me a
Yes.
note. Every show we do top 4, but we don't have 4 to give.
So it's a top 3.
Fine. It's going to be the top 3. Back to the top 3. You like the first show. This is going to be very quick as we are pressed on time. It's my turn to be the host of the top 4. We're still going to call it the top 4, so we're not confusing anybody. We're all going to give our top 1. And I thought of this the other day. Here is our topic. What breakfast food is the best breakfast food to have for any meal outside of breakfast? What breakfast food can be translated to lunch and dinner the best? And it's simple. I will start, and I will tell you this. Doesn't matter what time of day it is, I can have me some bagel with cream cheese and lox. I could have that for breakfast, I could have that for lunch, and I could have that for dinner every single day of the week.
Was weird.
No,
that's
I love
fine.
bagel and lox,
That's-
and to me, it's not something totally weird to be eaten at dinner time. It's
No,
salmon.
It's totally weird.
It's salmon.
No, that's
it's
a
a dinner time meal.
That's a breakfast brunch food, but that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. All right, so I'm on the clock, and the answer is very simple. This is the easiest one we've had yet. The answer is a waffle.
What?
Waffle is a guaranteed breakfast food.
A dessert?
It is a dinner food, chicken and waffles. It is a dessert. Are you kidding me? Waffles unanimously all day, every day. Give me some waffles.
All right, Justin.
Oh, I'm going with the classic sausage, egg, and cheese, possibly on an English muffin, sometimes on a hard roll.
How
But
is
the
that a classic?
Sausage, egg, and cheese.
No, that is a classic, but like Jason's is more classic.
In fact,
'cause
I had
it's
one
used.
yesterday morning on the golf course
When have you had it for lunch or dinner?
I'm curious too.
from McDonald's. Breakfast
They do all day,
baby.
all day, 24 hours. That's true.
All right. Well, you know what? That is correct. So I can't argue with that point. That was our abbreviated version of top 4. Now it is time to get into our final segment as we transition to highs and lows of the week. We give a high and we give a low. We're going to go around the room. Do either one of you want to go first? Because I have a fantastic high, but Justin has signaled. So go ahead,
I think
Justin.
we
What's your
start
high?
with- we're starting high. I thought we start low.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, let's start low.
Let's end on a high note.
Ah, you
like
wanna
that,
start
Jason.
low?
I like that.
Fine, we'll start low.
Bring us down.
All right, I'll bring you down to the level of the NFL
Cool.
Oh no.
and the atrocious call that was made on Antoine Williams.
Agreed.
On his sack was Blake Bortles in the game at the time? I don't remember. Anyways, to me it looked like a sack. And I think everybody watching the game, it was a sack. It was a tackle. So where are we going with the NFL and player safety when apparently you can't even make a tackle anymore? They probably should start strapping belts with 2 strings off the side and start playing 2-hand touch or flag football, because that tackle was totally legit. And just because the body drops on him, he gets a roughing the passer. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, I don't want to debate it because that's not the segment, but I did see the hit, and I agreed with you at first light. But Mike Zimmer did end up agreeing with the call in the end. But I'll leave it at that. We are entering a questionable era in football for sure. So I'm going to move on to my low, which is also football related. And I'll make this quick because I could spend an hour talking about this. But my low is the Cleveland Browns, and I know that doesn't seem fair because they haven't even lost a game this year. But it's only relevant because today, which is, again, not when it's going to air, but look on 538.com, which is a great website for resources, by the way, released an article on how hapless the Cleveland Browns are. And there are some unbelievably good statistics in here, but I will give you the bullet point, which is this. According to 538's ELO rating, which is a mathematical number they assign to teams based on value and talent and how they're performing, the Cleveland Browns are the first team in the history of their ratings that have reached the exact same point they were at when they were founded. In this case, the Browns were founded 19 years ago as an expansion team that came back to Cleveland. Okay, so they're pretty much, according to 538, starting back right where they were as an expansion team, which is horrible. And they give some very fascinating numbers to support their argument, and it's a great read. I highly recommend it. Check out 538.com. But I will leave you with this stat, when this is why you know it's so bad. If you do the math, and according to them, if you take a replacement level team, that means a team full of who are starting players who would not be starters in any other team. So we are talking about backups, free agents, and rookies. Okay, if you took a replacement level team, gave them 2 years, 2 full seasons against an average strength of schedule, the team of replacements would have a 0.1. A 0.1, that is 0.1% chance of winning only one game, which is exactly what the Cleveland Browns have done. What the Cleveland Browns have done, how bad they've been, has actually been an achievement of mathematical. It's actually almost impossible for them to do, and they did it. So that's where my low is, your Cleveland Browns. Prove me wrong this year, Cleveland.
My low is going to stick in the NFL. I don't understand why these fans go out and ink something on their body before something has happened. It happens seamlessly every year. It's a guy went out, Rams fan, got a Super Bowl tattoo before the season began. I will admit it is a fantastic looking tattoo. Helmet's done phenomenally. Even has the shine from the lights reflecting off the helmet. The little graffiti Los Angeles and then the Rams as they showed out in their symbol. So it's very cool and well done. But below the Rams, it's the Super Bowl champions in this coming year's Super Bowl. It would be one thing if you got it on your arm and then just put Super Bowl champions and then waited till it happened to actually fill in the date or the year or what Super Bowl it is. But to actually call your number permanently on your body, it's a good thing that they make tattoo removers because we see this all the time and it's just so idiotic. It's so idiotic. That's my low. Let's turn it up. Let's get hot in here. Let's get to some warm weather. I'm not going to start because I have a fantastic one. I want to end the show with my high. I'll let either one of you jump.
I'll switch gears into the MLB now for my high, and I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Keith Hernandez. Okay. I never really watched Keith Hernandez play, but I have watched him about 100 times on 2 different episodes of Seinfeld, okay? Love Keith Hernandez, and here's the deal. He was absolutely right on his broadcast when he said in regards to the game where the Marlins pitcher, Urania, threw at Ronald Acuna first pitch of the game. It was obviously intentional, okay? I mean, there's no way getting around it. Acuna likes to crowd the plate. He was trying to back him off. Whether he was trying to just go tight and back him off or whether he was actually trying to hit him, it's questionable. But here's the deal, okay? I like baseball tradition. Some people may not like this, but in baseball, it's tradition. You hit the guy, okay? He didn't hit him in the head. He didn't hit him in the neck. Hit him in the wrist. Hit him in the waist. Hit him in the leg. Keith Hernandez spoke his mind, said, you know what? I'm cool with it, and I'm cool with it too. Toughen up. He played the next game. There was no problem.
Woof, I can't say I've ever disagreed with a high.
On board. I like that heat coming at you. Jason, what's your high?
Okay. Subject for a different day. So my high, we go to England, London, England, and 51-year-old Allie Gibb is playing in her country club's ladies championship. And she goes out in the first round of the day in the morning, and she aces the 5th hole. And she proceeds to finish her round, go into the clubhouse, buy everybody a round of drinks. Lo and behold, she advances to the finals. She goes out to play her second round of the day, the championship round. She gets to the tee on the 15th hole, and what does she do? She aces it again. She aces it again.
Same hole?
Same hole. Wow. So then she proceeds to play the rest of her round. She gets to the par 3 11th hole, and she aces that one. The lady can't miss. She walks
hole-in-ones in one round, 3 in 2 rounds?
3 in 2 rounds in one day. Allie Gibb, excuse me, let me find this real quick for those. The Crowhamhurst Golf Club Ladies Champion. She obviously won with 2 aces, and she owed the bar 2 more drinks. It was an expensive day for her, but well worth it. 3 hole-in-ones in one day. How do you like that for a high, Brian? Top that.
I don't think I can. That's ridiculous. Mine's going to stay with, I guess, would you say 51 years old?
Yes.
Mine's going to stay with some elder women. I think mine's a little bit older. There's been
Brian
talk
likes
about
the
this.
older women.
Oh, you bet. There's been a lot of talk about this, but I had to see the video for me to actually fully appreciate this. If nobody's seen the video, I'm going to post it on our social media. Again, we're on Facebook. You can listen to us. We're on YouTube. You can listen to us. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at @the_forecast. Also on Instagram by the same handle. A lady named Sister Mary Jo. Any guys hear this name?
Yes, I did. I saw that. Yeah,
Pounding the strike zone?
Oh, forget the pounding of the strike zone.
Pounding of the cheeks?
She is a sister, Justin.
Whoa.
Over the weekend, pounded the cheeks. She's chewing, you know, when you have beef jerky, you're pounding them cheeks.
Get to your story because we
You
all
had
know what's
beef
coming.
jerky.
Okay, all right. No.
All right,
Cut.
so on the high here, there was a White Sox were hosting the Royals over the weekend. That's the low. The high is the fact that Sister Mary Jo came out and threw the first pitch. Now, this is an old lady. I'm sure that the age is up on the internet. I'm not going to do that to her. She's got some age on her. She's great, and she's damn sexy for how she looks as well.
Okay, seriously.
I'm being dead serious. She looks fantastic. I don't know her age, but she looks great.
This is Adam here?
No, the point I'm trying to make is she goes not from the front of the mound. She goes all the way from the rubber to throw open.
She wore a rubber?
Okay, I'm walking out.
From the rubber to throw out the opening pitch. Here is why it's a high. Because not only did she make it to the plate on the fly, something that even professional athletes can't do. Take a look if you have a chance at 50 Cent's opening pitch. It was awful. Here's the coolest part of what she did. Before she threw it, she did this little bicep pop of the ball. As she threw it to her bicep, popped it off her bicep, caught it, and then, because I was hearing people talk about this, I'm thinking, all right, she popped it to herself on the side, and then she gets on the mound. No. All in one motion. On the bicep, pops it off, catches it, winds up, throws, perfect strike down the middle. A little bit of sink action to that.
Little bit of sink. That thing broke half a mile. That was the nastiest curveball I've ever seen. I can't hit that.
All right. There you have it.
Well, I mean, Jason, I don't think you can hit a ton, you know.
Wow.
Just kidding.
He'd like to hit that nun.
Thank you for listening,
that
ladies
pop,
and gentlemen.
That pop, lock, and drop.
Thank you for listening.
And we've hit a new low, and Justin.
Most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
That was me. Anyways, this has been The Forecast. We appreciate you guys tuning in once again on Facebook, on YouTube. Be sure to drop your comments, like the page, tweet at us if you want, at @the_forecast. Also on Instagram, we're going to start, eventually we're going to start getting some actual live videos up here, so we'll be on IG Live. But definitely check us out on social media. We'll post some of these videos, but we do appreciate you listening. Spread the word to anybody else that maybe wants to listen to the show. We definitely have some fun here. To Adam, hopefully everything's good on the family end. We missed you here in studio, but we'll definitely get you back for other shows, or at least get the phones working. Again, that was an episode of The Forecast. Guys, that's all for today. So ultimately, Justin, Jason, last words?
Peace.
Have a good night.
See you guys. Hope the rest of your week is always sunny. This is for Mary Jo.